franchement en larmes en lisant le témoignage de ma
I
mère
broke into
biologique,
tears when I learned
par
about
toutes les
Mrs. Hoy's
circonstances de mon
situation.
abandon. Et à
From
partir
that
de ce
moment,
moment-là,
I
je
began
commence
to
à
notice the
reconnaître,
similarities
notre
between her
commun,
face
nos
and mine.
ressemblances, son visage. Et au fond de
Deep
moi, je
down,
commence
I believed
à
she was my
savoir et être
mother.
persuadé que c'est elle. J'ai
I am
30 ans,
31
je vis
years
à
old,
Paris
living in
et je suis
Paris,
réalisateur.
and I am a film producer. For the
Et
first
pour la
time in
première
my
fois de ma
life,
vie, je vais
I have been
rencontrer ma mère
reunited
biologique.
with my biological mother. What if the face you've searched for your entire life belonged to a woman who once held you for only a few seconds and then disappeared for 31 years? What if the loneliness you carried through childhood wasn't a lack of love, but the echo of a bond cut too soon? And what if a single article, a few yellow documents, and a trembling DNA sample finally reunited two lives separated since birth? This is the journey of a French filmmaker born in Vietnam, and the mother who lived 3 decades in silence, waiting for the son she never forgot. The boy who carried a quiet loneliness. In the heart of Paris, a young filmmaker named Arthur Scherer sat alone in a small apartment overlooking the rooftops. To everyone else, his life looked perfect, a career in film, friends who admired him. But inside, Arthur carried something no one could see, a hollow space he had never been able to fill. He had felt it since childhood, a fragile ache, a fear that people would leave, a loneliness that followed him even when surrounded by laughter. His adoptive parents loved him deeply, raising him with warmth in the countryside of southern France. His childhood was gentle: football, piano, winter nights by the fireplace. His adoptive mother, Monique, had dreamed of him long before he arrived. And yet, despite that love, Arthur grew up knowing he came from a story left unfinished. His Vietnamese name was Vu Van Dao, born August 19, 1994, in Hanoi's Bach Mai Hospital. His mother was listed as Nguyen Thi Hoi, a farmer from Gia Lam. But 4 days after he was born, she disappeared, leaving behind only a fading signature and a newborn in a cloth too small to protect him. The nurses searched. No trace. A French couple later adopted him and brought him across the world. His life began again, but his past followed him like a shadow. Growing up, Arthur knew he was adopted. His parents kept his documents safe: a birth certificate, a few medical papers, and a small photo of a baby in a red shirt, his only memory of Vietnam. As years passed, questions grew louder. Why did she leave? Was she scared? Did she think of me? At school, he blended in but never felt he belonged. Even his achievements, university, film school, building a production company, couldn't quiet the ache. By his late 20s, the emotional weight overwhelmed him. In therapy, he finally spoke aloud the truth he had kept inside. "I'm afraid of being abandoned again." 3 sessions later, one thing became clear. The knot inside him would never unravel until he found the truth, until he found the woman who gave him life. He didn't know her face, her voice, or if she was alive, but he knew he had to try. At 31, he made a decision. He would return to Vietnam. He would search for her, no matter what he discovered. For the first time, the emptiness inside felt less like a wound and more like a calling. A journey begins, and a mother steps out of the shadows. The search began quietly. In winter 2024, during a bus ride from Paris to Geneva, Arthur met a young woman who had been adopted. She said she found her birth mother through a social media group. It felt like destiny. A week later, he joined the same group, posting his documents and a message: "I am looking for my mother." Days passed. Silence. Then he contacted a French-Vietnamese volunteer who helped adoptees. She guided him and encouraged him. Arthur soon realized he needed to give this journey everything. He left the film company he had helped build. "I don't want to be 70 one day, wondering what could have happened if I had searched." He planned everything: a return to Vietnam in late 2025, a motorbike trip across provinces, a 3-month visa, visits to authorities, hospitals, adoption centers. He didn't expect miracles, only a sign. And it came sooner than expected. In early 2025, Don Tree published his story. It spread across social media and reached a small village in Gia Lam. A man called, saying his sister had given birth in 1994 and left the baby for adoption. He remembered a newborn wearing a red shirt, the same cloth in Arthur's photo. Arthur stayed cautious. Only DNA could confirm. Then came another message. A gentlewoman named Nguyen Thi Hoi, now 65, walked into the Dontry office with a bundle of yellowed papers she had kept for decades. When shown Arthur's photo, her eyes filled with tears. "There is a very high chance he is my son." She returned home trembling. That night, memories flooded back. 1994, poverty, fear, pregnancy without a husband, doctors telling her she needed to stay in the hospital for months, the newborn she held briefly, too small, too fragile, yet perfect. She had no money, no stability. In her deepest pain, she left him at the hospital, believing it was his only chance. She spent years wondering where he was, imagining him growing up, wondering if he hated her. She never married, poured her guilt into charity work, lived quietly, carrying a wound that never healed. Now, after 31 years, she dared to hope. When Arthur read the article, he cried. Something in her eyes felt familiar, but still, only DNA mattered. On April 22, 2025, he mailed hair and nail samples. When I closed it, I felt the weight of 31 years. He waited 4 weeks. Then, the call came. The moment two lives finally found each other. May 21, 2025, a video call was arranged. Arthur sat trembling on one side. On the other sat reporters, a DNA specialist, and the woman who believed she was his mother. The DNA representative spoke carefully. "We conclude that Mrs. Nguyen Thi Hoi and Mr. Vu Van Dao, also known as Arthur Scherer, are biologically mother and son, with 99.99% certainty. Congratulations." A single moment of silence, and then everything broke open. Mrs. Hoi burst into tears. Arthur covered his face, and softly he whispered, "Mercy, thank you." Across the screen, the mother who had carried 31 years of guilt reached toward the camera. "I'm sorry," she cried. "Thank you for finding me." She told him about her struggles, poverty, rumors, fear, the sleepless nights in the hospital, the moment she walked out with a breaking heart. "I left to protect you," she said. "I prayed every day for your happiness." Arthur listened through tears. The questions that haunted him began to dissolve. The emptiness he carried through childhood and adulthood softened. "Mom," he said softly, "you don't need to be afraid anymore." Then he read a letter he had written. "Mom, after 30 years of silence and 4 weeks of waiting, we have finally found each other. Thank you for giving me life. Your decision allowed me to grow up with love. I long to meet you in Vietnam." His mother wept again. She thanked his adoptive family and promised to welcome them. Arthur said his French parents were moved, and he hoped to bring them one day. "I'm coming to Vietnam soon," he said. "I want to hug you with my own arms." For 30 minutes the call continued, a mother and son stitched together again by truth. Every tear marked the years they lost. Every word was a step toward healing. When the call ended, neither wanted to close the screen. They knew this was only the beginning. The reunion that rewrote 2 lives. In the weeks that followed, Arthur's life changed. The heaviness, the fear of abandonment, restless searching, sleepless nights began to fade. For the first time in 31 years, he felt whole. And in Gia Lam, a gentle woman who had lived half her life in quiet repentance found peace. She no longer woke up wondering if her son was safe. She knew he lived, grew, thrived, loved, and searched for her with gratitude. Arthur is returning to Vietnam earlier than planned. He wants to ride through the countryside, taste the food, meet the people, breathe the air of the place where his life began, and, most of all, walk into a small home in Gia Lam, take the woman's hands, and call her mother. As a filmmaker, he hopes to capture Vietnam's beauty and create stories honoring the homeland he once lost, and build a bridge between 2 worlds, because this journey has become something unexpected, a path toward healing, forgiveness, and a love that refuses to disappear. A mother who never forgot, a son who never stopped searching, and a reunion that proves family can be separated by distance, circumstance, even decades. But love finds its way home.